When the hospital discharges your baby from the NICU, it can feel like you can finally get to a place where you can breathe. After everything that you have been through, you expect the doctors to lay out the next steps for you, to give you clear guidance as to what you need to do moving forward. But for many parents, it just doesn't happen that way. Instead, what they will hear is things like, well, you need to follow up with neurology or start therapy if needed, or the one that a lot of parents struggle with, which is, let's take the wait and see approach. Let's just see what's going to happen. That phrase, wait and see, is hard to hear because you are not just waiting, you are watching your baby every day, wondering, what should you be looking out for? Wondering, is there something else that you should be doing now, but nobody has told you, what you should be doing. That is why I want to talk about what comes after the NICU from a medical legal standpoint. As a birth injury lawyer, I talk with families all across the United States about their experiences with this process. And many of the parents, what they tell me is that they did not necessarily get clear guidance on what to expect after the NICU, and they only realized later how much they had to do when they had to take the time to figure it out on their own. So the first thing that you want to know is that early intervention, it actually matters. The early years are when the brain is still developing with your baby, which is why therapy is so important. Some babies will show signs of challenges right away, while others, they may seem fine at first, but then delays begin to show up or creep in later. Things like trouble with muscle control or speech or feeding. That is why it's important to track your baby's milestones. If your baby is falling behind, don't wait to bring it up. Don't wait. Go ahead and push for it. Push for evaluations. Ask about therapy. And if something doesn't feel right, you can get a second opinion. Another thing that many parents do not realize is how important medical records can be, even outside of a legal concern. If you have any suspicions that something may have went wrong, that medical malpractice may have caused your baby's injury, or it's a good idea to get copies of your medical records now while they are still easy to access. That includes your records, your baby's records, the fetal monitoring strips, and the placental pathology report if that was done. Even if you're not thinking about legal action right now, these records can help future doctors understand what happened at birth. Families have told me that having these records have made a difference when they are trying to explain their baby's history with new specialists. There are some other follow-up things that you want to keep in mind too, and that is neurology appointments. They can help monitor for things like seizures. Physical and occupational therapy can make a real difference, even if it's not suggested right away. Vision and hearing checks, those are also important because some babies, when they have injuries at birth, those areas can be impacted, but they may not be obvious early on. Doctors do not always lay all of this out, and many parents don't realize how much these steps can matter until later when the challenges become more and more noticeable. That is why I want you to know and have this information right now and talk with your doctors. If you have concerns, voice your concerns with your doctors. The more you know, the more that you can advocate for your baby, and that can make a real difference if they have an HIE or a subsequent CP diagnosis. Again, I'm Marcus Boston, and like I said, if you have any other questions about your baby's HIE brain injury at birth or subsequent CP diagnosis from a medical legal standpoint, don't hesitate to reach out and contact me. You can find out more information about me and my profile. If you're on certain apps, you can just send me a DM and we can chat a little bit about what's going on with your baby story. Or if you have other questions, you can just wait and watch the picture that follows the end of this video. All right, that's going to be it for this morning's quick educational video. Have a great day, everybody.